Uh, anyway, we're gonna go ahead here. So as you talk about people around you, that's a place where people can be surrounded with people and yet be lonely because and loneliness, like what you get to define, it just tells you loneliness is a result, is a consequence. It's telling you that you're not having the right amount of social engagement, right? Loneliness just tells you something is amiss, and it can get worse if you don't address it. Loneliness is a symptom. It's a symptom of lack of the right amount of social engagement, right? And the extent of your social engagement is dependent on how vulnerable you choose to be or not, right? When you're rightly engaged in life, then you accept to be vulnerable, right? But that vulnerable obviously still has boundaries to them. But that means that the vulnerability does not control you. You control the vulnerability. However, that vulnerability determines the depth and fullness and extent of the relationship you have with the people around you, right? Good. I'm going to go on to the next slide here. So uh we'll start here talking about love. Plato defines love. It says love is the name of our pursuit of wholeness, right? For our desire to be complete. So we're looking here as we talk about people around us, and this goes to different levels of relationship, right? We're talking about uh our love relationship, your love partner, your wife, your husband. It could also be someone you're pursuing. It could just be friendship, right? But what brings us together is a search for wholeness, right? A search for wholeness. Typically, another way of saying that is that we're looking for something that will feed something on the inside of us, right? The people you're closest to are the people that feed something on the inside of you, whether consciously or unconsciously. But you're not going to be a friend to someone that does not feed you, right? You are attracted to someone that feeds something on the inside of you, right? Consciously or unconsciously, right? It could also be we could also make relationship just because we made it. Well, we made a decision that this person is going where I am going, but really the depth of that relationship is determined by the reality of whether that person is feeding something on inside of you or not. All right, especially that for a love relationship, that's it. But to different degrees now in friendship and association, right? You're not going to go far except whoever you're not going to go far with anybody that's not feeding something on the inside of you. It's going to be a natural reaction or natural response that you won't go far with that person, right? So Plato is saying that what drives us, what is called love that drives us is because we're looking for wholeness, right? We're looking for wholeness, and in the Greek mythology, they kind of define it that we used to be someone that had everything inside of us. Then we were divided into two parts, and each of those parts looking for themselves, right? But that's a Greek mythology. But I look at that from scripture, and the Bible tells us that the woman was taken out of the man, right? So woman is not complete without the man. Man is not complete without the woman, right? But that's a love relationship, right? But relationship goes beyond that, right? Again, like we said earlier on at the beginning, none of us is complete on our own because our essence is not in ourselves. Our essence is in our relationship with other people, whether it be in terms of being an associate, whether it be in terms of or being a friend, whether it be in terms of love relationship, marriage, but our essence is found in relating with other people, right? We're not complete on our own, right? When we're not having the right amount of social engagement with other people, we'll feel alone, we'll feel dry, right? We'll feel incomplete, So that ties away again to what Plato said about love. It says love is our pursuit of wholeness. When we're pursuing a friendship with someone else, when we're pursuing a love relationship with someone else, we're pursuing something that makes us complete, something that elevates us, something that increases us. This can also be looked at, from a spectrum of life, the continuum of life. We talked about, we all start from being a dependent person, right? We can't do anything on our home. We're dependent. From that, we go into adolescence, where we start, developing our independency. Or we start, you know, through the stage of even dependency, we're getting to do some things. But in adolescence, we're forced to change from dependency to independency, because it's not just our decision at that point in time. Hormones begin to flow in our body, saying it's time to become independent, right? Hormones begin to flow in us. We go through puberty. We have parts of our sexuality that being, coming to birth, to say you are a man, you are a woman. Our manly features begin to show off themselves, begin to be pronounced, not by choice, but by reason of the hormones that begin to flow on the inside of us, right? The features of our femininity, begin to show themselves. Someone that you'll have either to look at and you'll feel nothing. You're not looking at that same person and you're feeling something, because there is a separation, there's a demarcation of where we fall, whether it would be male, female, But also coming with that is that we suddenly were forced into to move from a dependent, personality, to an independent status, right? And when we fully grow into independent status, we now find that there's something different also. There's more to life than just being independent, that we can even accentuate our humanity, our existence, by giving away some of our independency, intentionally, so that we can move to the next level of our life. And we'll call that a place of interdependency, right? When we choose to join with someone else, giving away some of our dependency, to that person, our independence into that person, such that we form a new, what we call a synergistic relationship, where the sum of a whole, the power of that new combination is higher and greater than the sum of a single. Is that place where the Bible says that two put to flight 10,000, two put to flight one will put to flight 1,000 and two will put to flight 10,000, right? It's called synergy. It's called a mastermind creation, or a mastermind yeah result, when we join with someone else and give away some of our independency, just so that we can be mingled, we can be joined with someone else, we can, as it were, rub and become one with someone else, right? The new whole is bigger than the sum of the singular parts, right? That's a beauty of relationship. That's a beauty of friendship. That's a beauty of partnership. That's a beauty of love, right? And that just goes along with what Plato said, and another way of saying what Plato said, expanding it, he says, love is born in every human being, right? It calls back the halves of our original nature together, right? It brings us to that place of wholeness, like where we used to be, right? Yeah, because we're created like God, right? And it's saying that we're incomplete on our own, right? The way we are, and love seeks to bring us to a place where we can complement one another, right? To become better than we are on our own, right? It says it tries to make one out of two and heal the wound of human nature, right? And Plato is just saying that we're incomplete. We have a weakness when we stand on our own, and what love does is to, make for that seeming absence, deficiency in our life. And that's what love does, joins together with someone else to get a higher results, right? Aristophanes, who came after Plato, kind of says it, and although tweaks it a little bit, This still a Greek, one of our Greek philosophers. And he says, love is merely the name for the desire and pursuit of wholeness. So when we come into a love relationship, or when love begins to do its work, it's seeking for wholeness. And again, love here, we're talking about love across spectrum, right? It's not just we're talking about the sexual relationship, partnership, marriage. We're also talking about just the ordinary associate, right? Friendship, go over that spectrum. What love is doing is pretty much just to bring us to a place of wholeness, because we're not complete on our own. There's only so much we can do on our own. But when we bring the element of love, when we bring the element of relating with someone else, when we bring the element of joining hands with someone else, we accentuate the possibilities in our life. We increase the possibilities in our life, right? We what's that word for it? But we in a big we in a we there's a word for it, but anyway, we increase our potential, right? We come into a synergistic, mastermind relationship that gets a much better result than we can get on our own. We can go much further than we can go on our own, right? Again, like I say, it's a spectrum. Have friends, you know, my friends, my friend, that helps me out with my fam, right? My friend, is always there. It's been the one that helps me to go to the farm every time I need to go to the farm. That makes a lot of difference for me. That's only so much I can do going to the farm on my own. One, I don't like driving outside where I stay, so in a relationship with him, he helps me in my place of weakness, right? I also have mentors now, in farming, and who know things I don't know, right? And that makes a difference in my farming journey, right? People see what I do, and think that I'm doing well, but there's a secret to what I do. There's a secret, to my success. It's being able to get into synergistic relationship with other people, right? Who have strengths in the area I have weakness. And together we become whole. We become whole. Become whole. We increase our possibilities. We increase the possibilities in our part, right? And that's what's supposed to happen also, in marriage relationship. When we come together, we should get better. We should stop fighting ourselves. I get to tell my wife this every time. We're on the same team. We're on the same team. We're on the same team. People in relationship get to be in competition. Why would you allow the devil get in between you? The reason for marriage is to be on the same team. Don't let the devil cheat you. You're on the same team. And you cannot achieve the reason, intent, purpose for your marriage if you don't get on the same team. If you start fighting against one another, you are killing love. You're killing love when you start fighting against one another. In love, you're supposed to work together. You're supposed to understand one another. You're supposed to lift one another up. You're supposed to complement one another. You're supposed to carry one another. That's the way you get a synergistic benefit in your marriage. Your marriage is not to make any of the two of you less. It's to make both of you more. You're supposed to increase one another. You're not supposed to subjugate one another. See all of this people talking about men is leader, men is that. Women must submit. Those are ignorant people, agents of the devil, right? Agents of the devil. When two people come together, they are equal, right? They're equal. We come back to humanity. We're all equal at the human level, right? If a man truly stands as a man, the woman will respect you as a man. She knows her weaknesses. She knows where she's weak, and she won't compete with you in your area of strength if you truly stand as a man. If you're a woman and you stand as a woman, live out your femininity. A true man will honor you, will love you, right? Because he knows he cannot compete with you at that level. You have things he does not have. And this has nothing to do with money. You're talking about the persons. Anyway, key thing is you are a team now. Stop fighting with one another. Learn about one another. Again, like we said, to win even in the area of relationship, you must know yourself, know who you are. You're a man, a woman, right? Be comfortable in who you are. Find your peace, find your rest. You can't make the best of your marriage if you don't know yourself. Find peace, win the war within, win the war within, win the war within, so you can win the war without. Do the war to become a team with your spouse. If you need to know yourself, you need to know your spouse. Complement one another. Complement one another. Complement one another. Because see, both of you don't have an enemy inside of you. The enemy outside of your home cannot win against you, irrespective of what that enemy is, whether it be poverty, sickness, whatever, cannot win against you. Your power is in unity. Your power is in seeing yourself as a team. Your power is in complementing one another, right? Don't let the devil, don't let inferiority complex, don't let fear, don't let ignorance come in between you. Know yourself, know your spouse, right? Help one another, complement one another, seek to be a team, seek to be united, seek to carry one another. That's what love does, right? So, like Aristophanes will say, love is merely the name of a desire and a pursuit. The desire and the pursuit. The desire and the pursuit. It's gotta be something that you desire, but not just decide, you pursue it, right? Yeah, marriage doesn't work of its own, right? It's got to be pursued. If you don't work, your marriage will not work. If you don't work, your friendship will not work. If you don't work, your association will not work, right? Love is both a desire and a pursuit. A desire and a pursuit. A desire and a pursuit. A desire and a pursuit, right? To be whole, to be one, to be synergistically related with one another, to develop a mastermind, right? To get the result of two becoming one, right?